Hi there, I'm Andre from Peak Motorcycles and I'm here at Motorcycle Live 2025 in the UK. It is late November and I'm really coming around the stands that I didn't get to see at EICMA. So neither KTM nor Husqvarna were at EICMA this year. So I couldn't show you anything there. However, they do have stands showing the bikes here in the UK. So I'm going to give you a quick look around the Husqvarna stand here and eagerly await people correcting my pronunciation of the name. So yeah, let's see how I get on and I'll show you what bikes they have. So starting at the adventure end of the market here, we have the Norden 901 Expedition. This is the 2025 model. I know a few people that have these and they absolutely adore them. You saw my KTM video from the show. You might see a few similarities about the bike. You know, it is same platform as the 890, KTM 890. However, some prefer it in white. And yeah, honestly, I think I probably do. I think the way that they've done the Norden, I think, is brilliant. You can see what they've got in here. It's got a fairly small dash for the class of bike, but then again, they do have that perfectly placed nav bracket, even having things like that vent to get some nice airflow coming over you from that rather large screen. Now, I know that not everyone is a fan of that front end with the spotlights and the headlamp, but I quite like it. Coming down the other side, showing you a few things like just how significant that bash guard is around those fuel tanks that carry the fuel so low and make the bike feel a lot lighter than it is. So the Expedition version is 215 kilos, carries 19 litres of fuel. Beside it I just have the standard 901 here, which again, you know, looks pretty cool. It's got the smaller screen at the front with those stubby little LED indicators. This also is a 2025 model, 204 kilos. You know, also same platform as the KTM 890, but just you know, a more trimmed down version of the bike. Here we have the 701 Enduro. This is the 2026 model. Again, similar to KTM 690, but if you prefer blue and white with a black frame, then you know this is an obvious choice. And again, you know, they've got been thoughtful with the fuel. It's that filler at the back, which actually fills up those side pods. It's got that big exhaust heat shield down the left side of the bike. Just try and keep your clothing safe. You know, just having a quick wander around before everyone starts flocking into the show. And yeah, you know, really nicely finished bike. If you want that 690cc platform, 701, but in a supermoto, that is also available. And yeah, as a commuter, that single cylinder engine, it's just got a lovely character. If you want to be a little bit of a hooligan. Right then, now we're into the street bikes, and what we have here is the Vitpillen 801. So again, built around that 800cc parallel twin platform. I just think the way that they've got the styling on these bikes is kind of cool. I mean, they always look a little bit different, especially on the 401s, but you know, things like looking at that front end, you know, you've got a few of the details on those WP forks, WP Apex forks, but then that headlamp where it's got that big ring light around the outside, but actually quite a small main headlamp unit right in the middle. One of these is about £8,400 here in the UK. It does have a double seat. I'm assuming that rear one comes off for a cowl. But yeah, nice looking bikes. In the slightly more scrambler styling, we have the Svartpillen. This one's here in black, slightly more understated, just those silver guards on the side, different headlamp arrangement at the front end. You know, coming up over, it's got that braced handlebar. Still has that same dual seat arrangement at the back. But yeah, just slightly different setup, slightly different aesthetic for those who want something a little bit different. And then to finish off the stand, first of all, we have the Svartpillen 401. Again, the sort of slightly more scrambler styled, sort of slightly more off-road wheels with that big round headlight that is a bit reminiscent of what is on the Norden. Again, this shares a platform with the KTM 390. So, you know, you may see some similarities between this and the KTM 390 Adventure. This one has a significant grab handle fitted to the back. Looks like it's also set up to take their tank bag with that bracket around the fuel filler that's bolted on there. And last but by no means least, we have the Vitpillen 125. You know, that certainly looks different to any other 125 that's out there. You know, really nicely finished. Even this bike has the WP suspension on that front end there. I'll just give you a close look down the side. I mean, you know, for a 125, you know, they really haven't spared any expense in kitting this out. You know, really nicely finished, really clean lines coming up and over the tank. You know, fairly decent sized dash. One of these, this is a 2025 model, will set you back about £4,400 in the UK. So, you know, probably somewhere in the middle to the top end of what you can get with a 125 here from Husqvarna. So there you have it. That is a quick look around the Husqvarna stand here at Motorcycle Live 2025. Hope that's been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out the other content from my channel, and maybe I will see you there. Thanks for watching.